A very interesting day in these markets. Dow Jones was up as high as 220 points, closes down for the fifth straight day, down 23 points. We got the jobs report today, and these numbers were horrific. And to think that the Dow Jones was only down 23 points after this news, this just reinforces my belief that these markets are completely rigged and completely manipulated. February job numbers, 20,000 new jobs created for February, compared to January, where we had 311,000 new jobs. So to go from 311,000 jobs for January 2019 to February 2019 to only 20, and to see that that amount of decrease in new jobs, that's alarming. I believe this is going to accelerate the fears of a slowing economy here in the United States of America, and it's just reflecting the slowing economy throughout the globe. We're witnessing right now a deteriorating economy, and it's getting harder and harder for them to keep sweeping this under the rug. Economic fundamentals are eventually going to win out, and investors are very aware of that. I think that that's why we are continuing to see gold and silver hanging on there. They're not beating it down as hard as they used to be able to do. Again, gold breaking back over 1,300, silver up 34 cents. People are very uncertain with the future, and I believe that more and more people are waking up to the fact that they need to be preserving their wealth with hard physical assets like gold and silver. We did have a little bit of good news today. Wages were up 3.4% year over year. But the bad news is real inflation is 8 to 10%. Even though the government tells you that inflation is literally zero, real inflation is 8 to 10% a year. So, if you're getting an increase in your wages, an increase in pay of 3.4% year over year, it's not really helping all that much when real inflation is 8% plus. And if you don't believe that, just go to the grocery store. Go look at what a price of hamburger costs. Go look at what bread costs. Go look at a gallon of milk, a box of cereal. These things are going up literally every day. And so just to be able to keep up with the cost of living, 3.4% is an improvement, but certainly nobody is going to get ahead at 3.4% because the real numbers do not lie. All you have to do is go to your local grocery store and go see what prices are doing month over month. Go look at the price of housing, the price of rent, the price of an automobile. Everything costs more now than it did a year ago, than it did a few months ago. Everything is going up. And this is going to be a huge problem because people, as we know, are living paycheck to paycheck. They cannot keep up with the cost of living. They cannot keep up with real inflation. We had more bad news today, yet Dow Jones only down 23 points. I read an article this morning, you can Google it. U.S. household net worth drops $3.7 trillion in the fourth quarter of 2018. This is the biggest drop in net worth since the last recession, the last financial crisis that we saw in 2008. I read an article this morning that was interesting too, and it went back to 1989 to 2007, and it talked about family debt. Back in 1989 to 2007, family debt was nearly unchanged. Between 2007 and 2013, debt increased around 50%. In 2013, 12% of families were in debt exceeding the assets that they had by $32,000. And most of this was blamed on falling home equity and college loans. You either have to be severely brain dead or you are on some very, very strong painkillers if you cannot see what is going on right now here in America with this economy. We are witnessing an economic breakdown taking place right now, and I cannot express enough that you need to be getting prepared. Trucking boom U-turns. This was an article that came out a few days ago. Orders plunged 58% in February compared to last February for orders of new trucks like Peterbilts, Kenworths, Max, Freightliners, all your big freight haulers. 58% decline in new truck orders because these companies are not moving the amount of freight that they used to, and that's a huge warning sign. When you start looking at what's happening in distribution, what's happening in real estate, this is telling me a lot more than what the Dow Jones and what the stock market is telling me, because the stock market is detached. It is an illusion. It is la la land. It has no reality to me whatsoever. But real estate, freight, retail, these are numbers that most people can relate to. These are real numbers. How about this? Deadbeat Nation. This was on Zero Hedge this morning. 37 million credit cards were 90 days past due in the fourth quarter of 2018. So, all those people that did all that Christmas shopping that they couldn't afford to do, people buying stuff that they don't need, people buying stuff to impress people, people buying stuff just to survive, people buying food because they don't have enough money to pay for it. We have a major crisis on our hands, and it's called debt. And this stuff isn't lying. This is reality. And if you're not getting ready for what's coming, you are going to be in a massive world of hurt. Global economy is sinking fast, and it will take the U.S. with it. Another article in Zero Hedge. Of course, the global economy, we are all connected. The globe is connected to one another. If Deutsche Bank blows up in Europe, we are going to feel the aftershocks here in America. If China continues to slow down, we're going to feel the aftershocks here. Germany heading into a recession right now, Italy heading into a recession. We are going to be feeling all this. If some of these big banks in Europe go down, we are going to really be in some trouble here. And likewise, if we have huge trouble here, it's going to affect the rest of the world big time. Another article came out last night. Hertz Rental Cars is one recession away from bankruptcy. Big trouble. New car sales expected to stall. Another article that came out this morning. And here's another one that came out a couple days ago. Retail apocalypse continues. Dollar Tree closing up to 390 stores. And that's really alarming, because when you're seeing stores like Dollar Tree having to close, who cater to a lower medium price market, that's scary. That's scary. But again, we are witnessing a retail apocalypse taking fold right now. We're witnessing a real estate crisis taking effect right now, and it's just bad all the way around. And if you're not preparing for it, you are so asleep that when you wake up, the world's going to be a very, very dangerous place for you. It's as long as people can turn on the TV, watch their reality TV shows, watch a football game, have food, they're okay. But the minute that they start going hungry is the minute we're going to start seeing really, really big trouble here in America. So how long does this continue? How long do we keep the lights on? How long do we keep feeding this country? I guess until we can't any longer. And that's the magic question, is when is it all going to end? When do we really see real scary times in America? It's going to be when the food stops. Nobody has a crystal ball, but I can assure you that it's not a matter of if, it is now a matter of when. We're going to see some really dangerous times here in America. What happens when these people come to your house, the relatives, the friends, the acquaintances that made fun of you for putting food and water away, for buying guns? These people that, instead of making sacrifices, they were out partying, having a good time, going out to dinner, going out on their vacations, just calling you a nutcase. Now something happens, they want your help. That's a question you're going to have to ask yourself. What happens when those relatives and those friends come to your house needing help, and they need to drink your water and eat your food? They have no tactical training. You can't just throw a gun in their hands and say, here's a gun. these people now become a detriment because they have no training, they have no preparations. What are they bringing to the table other than nothing? So, and a lot of people I know have asked themselves that question, and I think that's something that you really have to discuss with you, your family, your group, what you're going to do with these people. This government is coming for the guns. They have been coming for the guns. They've been coming aggressively for the guns since the days of Obama. And when you look at government agencies, non-military government agencies, the amount of guns that they have, the amount of ammunition that they have, and you have to ask yourself, why do they have all this, yet they want your guns? The IRS has 4,461 guns. The IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, has almost 4,500 guns. They have 621 shotguns, 539 rifles, 15 submachine guns, and over 1 million rounds of ammo. The U.S. Forest Service has guns. Between 2010 and 2017, $1.5 billion was spent on guns and ammo and tactical equipment for these non-military agencies. The government is arming up, yet the government wants your guns. They want your ammo. Ask yourself why. Why are they buying all the guns and ammo and tactical gear and telling you not to? That's like the central banks telling you to buy stocks and papers while they're backing up the trucks buying silver and ammo. What do they know that you don't? This is another reason why I reinforce you should have guns, you should have ammos, you should have training. Don't do what they're telling you to do what they're doing. They're buying guns and ammo and tactical gear and training. That's what you need to be doing. The central banks are buying gold and silver and telling you to invest and gamble in the stock market. You don't need to be investing in gambling in the stock market. You need to be buying hard physical assets like gold and silver, like the central banks. We need to wake up and stop listening to what everybody is telling us to do and do what these groups are doing. Do what these central banks and what this government is doing, because they know a lot more than we do. What happens? Really ask yourself, if this is a good economy, what is a bad economy going to look like? With all this manipulation, with everything they've done to drive these markets up, to push these markets up, to manipulate these markets, what's going to happen when the tricks run out? What's going to happen when they no longer can manipulate these markets? What happens when reality sets in? I think that's something you really have to ask yourself. If this is as good as it gets right now, what's it going to look like when it gets bad? And with the amount of money and manipulation that they've poured into these markets, and this is as good as it gets, what happens when reality comes to America? What happens when reality sets into these markets? And the reality of that is it's going to be a scary ass time. Do what the central banks are doing. Do what all these government agencies are doing. Buy metal, buy guns, make sure you have all your preps put aside, and make sure that you take every day and continue to add to your necessities. Continue to top off your preps. This could last a couple more years. It could last a couple more months. Nobody knows. But this is a party that you do not want to be late to. I'd rather be prepared early than be prepared late, because there is no preparing late. You have to realize that the food can be wiped out literally in hours. All the guns at the store can be wiped out in hours. You don't even want to be out at this time. It's going to be dangerous. You want to be able to just hunker down, have your preps and your gear, and just try to make things as comfortable as possible and be able to weather this storm as long as possible, because we don't know how long that could last. It could last a month. It could last a year. It could last more than a year. Who knows? We don't know what we're heading into. All we know is we're heading into very uncertain times. We're heading into very deep water here, and nobody has the answers. Nobody can read into the future and know exactly what we're going to see. We don't know how fast and how far an environment can change. You know, an environment can become very, very extreme very quickly. And so nobody's really prepared for what we're going to see in an unknown environment. But all we can do is do the best that we can, prep, make sure we have food and water, make sure we have physical assets, and number one, make sure you have security, guns and ammo, and even above all else, make sure you got God, because this is going to be a spiritual war we are heading into. And if you don't have God on your side, doesn't matter how many guns, how much food you have, it's going to be a very, very dangerous time. So, you know, to me, cover all your bases, walk closer to God, make sure you have all your preps, all your assets, and all your security situated. On that note, remember, these are exciting times. We've been picked to be here for these times. We are patriots. We're here to protect our country. I love America. I know you love America. We're going to fight for America no matter whatever that means. And we're going to make sure that we're self-sufficient human beings. We're going to take care of ourselves, our families, and we're going to do the right thing. And, you know, if we can help anybody out in any way, we're going to do that. That's why I'm making this video. That's why I try to get the word out, because I'm trying to wake people up. And that's why I appreciate when everybody comments, because we learn so much in those comments. And it's waking people up. You may make a comment that wakes one person up. It may wake 5 people up. It may wake nobody up. But there's comments out there that are waking people up. And so we've got to continue to get the word out to everybody we know, even people we don't know. But I really do appreciate the people that take the time and make really, really good, sound, educated comments, because there are a lot of people reading those. And you are waking people up. You may not be able to wake people up in your family or at your church, but by writing a real good, educated comment, you might have woke somebody up. You might have woke a few people up. So we can't always see the good that we're doing, but we're doing a lot of good. So remember that. Have a phenomenal, positive weekend. God bless you guys. God bless America. And again, these are incredibly exciting times, and we should not fear them. Let's look forward to the challenge. We were, like I said, we were here. We've been picked to be here at this time for a reason. God bless you guys, and I will talk to you very, very soon.